Hey everyone, I'm Ruth. Welcome back to another video. In this tutorial I'm painting a rose in watercolors. I'll show you step by step to make it really easy to paint this rose. So let's get right into the tutorial. I start by taping my paper to the surface, and then I use some masking fluid to cover the lines that I want to keep white. Then I mix my colors on the palette and I use very diluted paint for this first layer. I use my black velvet silver brush number 8 for this rose. And I work in very light washes, let it dry in between, and then apply another layer. So on to the next petal. I make sure that the paint on this petal doesn't touch the paint on the first petal, so it won't bleed into each other. And I use a damp brush to lift off some of the pigment to create various shades in the petal. So for this first layer, I repeat the same process on all the petals, applying a light layer of paint and lifting off some of the pigment with a damp brush. And on the outside petals, the color is slightly different, it's more greenish, so I mix some green into my pink and apply that on the outer petals. So onto the stem of the rose and the leaf, I also apply a very light layer of paint with again diluted paint. And I apply some darker green on the leaves here, also a very light layer. For this second layer, I use slightly thicker paint and apply a second layer on all the petals. And here you see me lifting off pigment with a damp brush to create the veins in the petals. And another layer of paint on the second petal as well, and lifting off the pigment again for the veins. And on to the outer petals again. Some more green yellow into the mix, and the inner petals of the rose, also another layer of slightly thicker paint. And as you can see, I'm slowly building up my layers to create a lot of depth in this rose and create a realistic effect. And in the meantime, I removed the masking fluid because, well, I've never used it before. I wanted to try it out, but I thought it worked better when peeling it off after the first layer of paint. For the shadow underneath this petal, I use darker pink with some purple mixed into it and apply it for the shadows. In all the shadowed areas, I apply a layer of this color. And some more purple, even a darker shade of this purple mixed into the pink to create the darkest values. And when I think that I've used too much paint, I use a damp brush without any paint on it to lift off some of the pigment. It's very easy while the paint is still wet. Onto the stem of the rose again, I apply a darker layer of green with some thicker paint. If you want to see more of my artwork and learn how to paint and draw yourself, you can head over to my Patreon page. I'll put a link down in the description box. Here you'll find a lot of in-depth tutorials, real-time videos, reference photos to print out for your own artwork, tips and tricks videos, art materials, and a lot more. So I hope to meet you there. And some more shadow to the darkest areas. Darker green to the leaves and to the stem as well. Just building up my layers. Here I mix some yellow into my pink and add it to all the petals to create some more depth. And some darker pink. And lifting off some of the pigment again with a damp brush. And adding more color to the center of the rose as well. I let the paint completely dry in between layers. That makes it easier to create this realistic effect. This outer petal is curved and I apply a gray tone here to create that curved effect. And some shadow as well. And some shadow to the center of the rose as well. With a slightly darker purple color. Slowly building up all my layers. And some more dark pink to the shadowed areas and also to accentuate the veins in this rose. And again, to create the veins, I lift off some of the pigment with a damp brush and then I apply another layer of paint around the veins, and that accentuates them even more, as you can see here. Another layer of paint to the leaves and to the stem as well. Using all these various shades of green creates more depth in the stem. Applying some more color to the outside petals. Some pink onto the green. And some darker grey to the outside petals as well. And creating more veins on this petal here with the same method as I mentioned before. So applying paint, lifting off pigment and adding another layer of paint around the veins. And here I'm painting in some extra details, some fine details. Also on the stem and some shadow on the leaf and underneath the rose. And some more yellow. And then I'm ready to take off the tape.
Thank you very much for watching my video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell to get informed when a new video comes out. You can leave a comment down below and don't forget to share my video with all your friends. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Bye!